welcome. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever it is for you, welcome to the 45-minute practice. I really wanted to kind of reel it in a bit today for the 45-minute practice and make it about a pinnacle pose. The pose is pigeon pose, so it's a lot of hips involved and back bending. So the first stage of this practice is to remind yourself insightfully how to non-harm yourself, practicing ahimsa. So let's come to sit on the mat together, finding your sacred space, creating a comfortable position in any of the seat positions that work for you. But make sure you do have a blanket and you do have props, a bolster, maybe a strap today, I'm not sure. But let us begin by just taking this time out to really ground and quell the self. So if you're not feeling like a pigeon pose today, please stay with me because I'm going to invite you into the practice so it is accommodating for all people, especially those with knee and hip issues. You can work through it. We all bend and extend getting in and out of cars and chairs, so I'm sure you can invite yourself into this practice and augment to your best ability. So let's begin by just closing the eyes and opening up the heart and your mind for this transformation of just being you. Meet yourself on the mat, meeting your needs and being kind to yourself without pushing, shoving. It's called ahimsa, non-harming. As we look into the mind's eye, see yourself letting go of all of the barriers, all of the shoulds and the betters and the coulds and the woulds and all that stuff, and just be. No expectations, and just sit with yourself. Big breath in. Oh, that genuine letting go breath out. Just let it go. Big breath in. Keep that going. Most important piece around yoga is to be in yourself with the stillness of just following your breath, the magic of your being. A couple of more breaths, just really inviting that stillness. The letting go, acknowledging first, of course, what is it that you're letting go of? Rushing around, judgments, the insanity of being busy. And just be with yourself. Beautiful. And then I invite us all to bring our hands into heart center, to join the union of yin and yang, the night, the day, the sun, the moon, the left, the right. Everything comes together in this unison, this dance. The magic of balance, the courage of the heart. Hands together in Anjali Mudra, courage of the heart. Let us chant one beautiful big Om to connect us in this practice today. So first a letting go, surrender breath first, then Om. Big breath in. And then as mindfully as you can drip your hands and your blinking of your eyes open, welcome into your space. I'd like to begin today's practice in a dance of movement just to warm up the body. So let's go right into standing and whatever that may mean to you. I love to use this whole principle of alignment, rocking from a cross leg into tucking the back toes and then pressing into the back foot and then shining up. So you choose how you wish to get there. Set your bolster aside. Make sure you have your two props out in front. And we are going to play. I'm just going to turn on this light here. I often forget to do that. Look how organic this practice is. So it is a dark day, and the video will be depending on the light coming in too. So organic. So in your mountain pose, reach your arms up and then exhale, hinge forward. Letting all that breath just go and let your head hang. Swing your hips from side to side. Uttanasana, such a great practice. You can heel toe your feet wider. Let your head go. Oh my goodness, I'm starting to notice that now. As I go upside down, I'm getting older, so my skin wrinkles. Discernment. On your next in-breath, with your feet rooted fully, rising up through the crown of the head, if you need your yoga blocks to find that Ardha Uttanasana, please do so, because we really want to assist our bodies to feeling good. And then on your next exhalation, let's sink the hips back as if you're sitting in a chair, and then rising up in any way that feels good to you, and then exhaling into heart center. We're going to do that a couple more times just to awaken the body. Inhale, sweeping those arms up. Exhale, hinging hips, forward fold, let it go. This is known as Uttanasana. Inhale to half breath, half back. Exhale into forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhaling, rising up through the sitting bones, chair pose all the way up. And do that a couple more times, like I said, at your own pace. So really following your breath. Let out audible sounds. Inhaling, really opening up your heart and your collarbone. Remember, not compromising your neck in any way. Another round or two. Feeling the magic of just being in your own vessel. Literally listening. Paying attention to your needs. Meet your needs. When you arrive at the top of your mat, I'm just playing with my arms. You can play with your arms. I like to bring my hands together at the nape of my neck. Some of you do not have that flexibility, and that's understandable. Do what you can do to really ignite your chest open. And if you want to bring your hands together in prayer to the nape of the neck, that takes your arms into full flexion, but you want to tone the belly button in, lengthen tailbone down. Or you can just grab one elbow, cross that arm over, play around in your hips, just opening up the chest, opening up your arms. Maybe you're interlacing your hands behind your back. That's another great option. So as you're standing in your mountain pose, just figure out what you need to do for your shoulders. I love just playing. Yoga is meant to be a very organic practice of being in the moment. Now the next thing, wiggle your shoulders around. I invite you to, we're going to introduce that external rotation of the hips, getting that open in standing posture. So I'm facing forward. You can face the front of your mat. Standing through your right leg first, start to pick up that left knee, then externally rotate it. We want to bend your standing right leg and place that left ankle on it and start to sink your hips back. So there's no quick way of doing this. So you find your mountain pose, externally rotate that left leg and sink your bum back. Straighten out your arms so the hands are resting on the knee and the ankle. And some of you are right here, and that's good enough. Trust me, it's awesome. See if you can sink your hips a little bit further back, those that are able to do that, without your knees surpassing your toes. Then from there, we're going to sweep our arms forward, sink your hips further back if you can. Turn your palms up to receive supine position, noticing what you notice. And then inhale, rising up, picking up that left knee, and then exhale, lowering it. So that was the side profile. I'm just going to face you for those who need that little facing forward. When you stand through your left leg and pick up your right leg, you want to keep that standing left leg really rooted through the 4 points of the foot. I like to lift and spread my toes. When you externally rotate your right knee, that's a lot of hip stuff going on, so be kind to yourself. When you extend your hands, keeping that dorsiflex right foot, move your bum back. So you're really flexing your hips. Flexing your hips. Some of you may be better off, I'm just going off site a little bit, with the back of a stable chair. If that's something you need, because that's where you're at in your practice, make sure it's not close to you and you're leaning forward, that you literally are able to sit back. Okay, now some of you, because it's a big practice, maybe sitting on the chair and externally rotating is your practice for today. So it's the left leg standing, right ankle. Feeling that forward flexion, that's a lot of hip energy going on. So in that, when you're ready, standing as you pick up the right knee, squeeze it in, and then release. So whether you're using a chair or standing, let's continue this. So you decide what you need to do, not to complicate things. We're going to go back into the left leg, externally rotating, standing strong through the right leg, externally rotate the left, sink your hips back, chair or no chair. Want to be able to get as far back into your bum as possible, turning your palms up for 5, for 4. Keep your collarbone nice and broad for 3. That knee's not surpassing your toes, it's moving back, because I see a lot of people doing this. And then when you're ready to root to rise, you're going to pick up that left knee and then exhale and release it. Okay, you can sit in a chair and do it. Let's do the other side. So standing through your left leg, pick up the right knee, externally rotate it, place it on your ankle or your thigh, and then move your bum back in space. So not to rush this. This is a huge piece in the pelvis. So when you're sinking your hips back, you want to make sure, look how long my spine is. So I'm not rounding my spine and shoulders up. You're literally blossoming your bum wherever your hands are, whether you're seated on a chair, and that right foot is flexed in dorsiflexion towards kneecap for 4, for 3, for 2. Palms face up when you're ready, and then inhale up, picking up that right knee, and then release it. So let's do that another time, just to really warm up those hips. Standing through the right leg, pick up the left knee, externally rotate, sink your hips back. So you're not struggling with your arms and reaching them above your shoulders. They're down below, as if you're holding 2 soup bowls and you're a waitress and you don't want to spill them. You're really flexing your your left foot so your bum goes back. Knit the belly button in. Feel that energy. Whether you're seated in a chair, you could still do this. And then when you're ready to pick up that left knee and then release it. Right side, stand through the 4 points of the left foot, pick up your right knee, externally rotate that right knee, move your bum back into space. Oh, there we go. So sink it back. Let's have some fun with this. Yoga is about being in the structures of your being, in your shapes, and utilizing your breath and being very present in your needs at the moment. For another 1, 2, and then root to rise all the way up. Shake it out. Shazam. So I don't need the chair anymore, nor do you. We're going to start moving. So standing in your tabletop, or your Tadasana, the other T word. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, bum way back as you forward fold. Open up your feet and your knees to accommodate boobies and belly. Yes, let it go. Inhale to half back. Use your blocks if you need them. Exhale, go much deeper in towards your feet, and then as you're ready to inhale, step 1 foot, then the other foot back. Reassess your hands as wide as your mat. Plank pose. Lower the knees. Sit back onto your shins and breathe for 4 more breaths. Just like, let it be. Let it be. Slowing down. Good. And then we're going to invite the hands to come into tabletop. Come up onto the left finger pads. Extend the left leg straight back, then lift the left leg hip height, bend the knee out to the side like a dog peeing on a fire hydrant, and just give yourself some flexion and extension here, playfully. We're warming up that hip. So you're in your tabletop, yes, and you're coming up onto your left finger pad so that you can open up a little bit more. Or you can have your hand down, but keep your elbows straight. Yeah. So we're playing, you're just playing in your own way of moving that knee as high up into your armpit as you can get it, activating your foot, and you'll feel the right side body lengthen. I know you will. Good, and then exhale, sit back onto your toes, and notice if you need a blanket for your knees, then I invite you to use a blanket for your knees, because now we're going to do the other side. So when you're ready, come up onto your right finger pads, extend your right leg out, bend your right knee out and up and over, and play. So it's literally, where do you need to dance yourself open, preparing yourself for that external rotation. Oh yeah, noticing all that stuff, that goodies that are going on in those hips. And when you're ready to extend and release, sit back onto your shins this time, not your toes. I'm going to release this bolster to the back. I don't need it. Then come back into your tabletop, hands as wide as your yoga mat. And from here, we're going to pivot on the right knee, take the right toes off the mat, then fully extend out through the left leg. And in that, yeah, we're going to pick up that left knee and hug it into the chest. Okay? Slide your hand to the shin, grab your ankle, and to your best ability, take it back behind you. So as you root through your right hand holding your left ankle, can you open up your chest? So it's a back bend. You're opening up your chest and you're making sure your right hand is rooted through the index knuckle and thumb, and your elbow crease is facing your thumb and index finger, so your chest stays open for 5. Oh yeah. You can resist if you're not able to grab your knee, that's okay, or your ankle. That's okay. Grab your knee and bring it in, and as much as you could play with that hip for 3, 2, 1. And then extend that left leg all the way to the inside of the foot and reach that left arm up and over and feel that, oh, that language of the body. Fantastic. Exhale, left hand, left knee. Pivot left knee, left toes off. Right leg goes full extension. Play. Note where you're at. Then start to pick up that right knee into your chest. Tone the belly, grab the ankle back behind you if it'll go. So you're resisting that ankle against your hand and you're pressing the floor away with the root of the left index finger. So you're really turning your elbow crease to face your left index finger. Open up your heart. Whoo-wee. Can you lengthen your tailbone? Feel the chest opening. You've got it. So again, if you're just and it's not just, if you're able to get your knee in and about, that's the great practice while you're in an arm balance here. Good. And then on your next in-breath, inner edge of right foot touches the floor, right arm expands you. Feel that. 2 more breaths. Good. Lovely. And then exhale into your tabletop. Sit back on your toes. Get those toes active. A couple of breaths into your belly. Good. Tabletop. Pivot on your right knee. Right toes off the mat, fully extend that left leg, open up. Open up. So all the parts of your being, see if you can start to back bend and play with this side body, the ability to move yourself. Can you keep your right shoulder, yes please, keep that right shoulder externally rotated, because now you're going to bend that left knee into your chest, squeeze it in, and bring it forward towards the front of your mat. Pivot your back right toes in line with your right knee. Slide your blocks just ahead as you take both hands inside your left foot as you heel toe the left foot to the edge of the mat. Pivot your left toes off the mat. Slide your blocks inside your left foot. Pick up your right knee and move your right knee back. So hopefully with this subscription, you have already made sure that you have your props, because practicing yoga without props is like, well, how many analogies do you have? Like having a car and never filling it with gas. You got to actually support what you need to have in order to have that practice. So props are definitely a necessity. So make sure you have them. So circumventing around in your pelvis. So think of this. You're bending and extending in both knees. See, this knee extends and bends. Same with this one. So you're moving around. Good. Then from there, blossom your bum and fully extend this left leg, keeping the big ball mound, baby ball mound. Come up onto your finger pads. Can you open up your heart forward? Breathe the breath for 5. You can swing your hips from side to side for 4. For 3, 2. Good. Then bend back into that left knee. Slide your blocks ahead or your block ahead. Heel toe the left foot to the center or right beside the edge of your mat up against the block. So make sure everything lines up together. And then from here, we're going to bend and extend in both knees again, but this time your shins are going forward. Yeah, good, or your shin. Now from here, still that motion, take your block that was on the outside of your left foot inside your left foot, keep that left foot where it is, and let's see if we can keep the knee above the ankle and karate chop the left pinky side of your forearm down in line with your elbow in line with your knee, your ankle, I can speak English, and hug the knee to your inner shoulder. Now, if that block's too low, come up onto the second level or a higher level, and then marry the right block at the same height. So really important that your blocks are equal. Extend through the crown of the head, and this is where your palms face each other, and we're going to bend and extend in the hips. Now, if having your elbows down on the blocks does not serve you today, then you could take your hands at the highest level of the blocks, elbow creases face your index fingers and thumb, and you're bending and extending to your best ability into the left knee, back and forth. So no matter where you are, you're still present with me in your ability to be here. If you're a person that went all the way down to the mat, but your back is rounded, then you're not serving yourself by doing this. I know your ego wants to do the practice. You're not doing a practice that is not involving the ego then, if your back is rounded. So we're gonna be here for a bit. Slide your blocks in there. Get onto your blocks. If you don't have blocks, straighten out your hands inside that left foot and feel the length as you rock back and forth. Good job, everybody. Breathe the breath. 3 more breaths. No matter where you are, as long as your spine is long. Good. And then start to manifest that lifting up no matter where you were. And gently, left hand to outside of left foot, slide that left foot to join the right foot, shins down, and rise up. Feel those hips. Good. Tabletop. Couple of breaths here. Start to move through your cat-cow. That may be really helpful for some of you. And because I don't offer sometimes something to do, you can do what you need to do organically, okay? Good job. Now let's pivot on the left knee, left toes off the mat. Extend your right leg straight out and open up. Feeling it. Feeling what you're feeling. Then start to invite that right knee into your chest and swoop it forward, pivoting on the back left toes. And then coming up onto your finger pads as wide as your mat. So again, if you need your blocks so that you can stabilize here, back and forth. I know I did the other one first, but let's just do this one. Back and forth. Feel those hips. Good. Still that rock and roll. Take your right hand, right block inside your right foot. Heel toe your right foot to the edge of the mat. Turn your right toes off the mat. Line your blocks up in line with that right heel. As high as you need your blocks or no blocks, as long as your spine is smooth. See, it's not doing this. Then once again, you can pick up the back left knee and move the left knee further back so that you can bend and extend here. So this left leg or right leg is externally rotated and you're feeling it. You can feel it. Shazam, eh? Whew. Lengthen through the crown of the head. Noticing what you notice. Make sure you're not dumping into your wrists. You can come up onto your fingertips if you feel the urgency to do that. Yeah, there you go. Good. Now still that motion. Heel toe your right foot back in. Take your block to the outer edge of the foot. Actually, sorry, excuse me, inner edge, right? There we go. And let's see if we can take our right forearm and then your left forearm mirrors it. So literally your spine is long, your neck is long, and your right knee is right up against your shoulder. No matter where you are in this, your right shin is right up against your right arm, shoulder, forearm. So that's keeping the hips in that sequential order of, well, alignment. Flexion, extension of the hips. Yes, today is definitely a prep day to ignite your soul with pigeon. So feel that energy. Make sure you're not dumping into your wrists. Sometimes coming up onto your finger pads is the best option ever. Now from here, if you were on your forearms, that's great. If you're on your finger pads, that's great. Let's just still the action and hold it for 5, but not hold your breath. For 4, for 3, lengthen the neck, tone the belly button in for 2, and then very mindfully pick up your fingertips onto your blocks and mindfully slip that right leg back to join the left leg, but make sure you didn't fall back into that position. Make sure you're humbly working your blocks with your hands. There's so many tricks to that. You'll learn as you go along. And then I'm just going to turn to face you and give a little right foot in and a left heel back behind the bum bum. So for this one, a lot of us are seated like that because of the flexion of the pelvis. I understand. So let's just do our best to take the left hand to the left. If your hip's way up like that, take a block. If your hand's not touching the floor, and give yourself something to resist against. Because now, turning your left elbow crease up towards the sky, see if you can hinge that left elbow towards your hip, lowering your left hip down. So I'm just many variations. They're not going to look like yours. Your shape is your shape. My left hand is in line with my left hip as far as I can take it. So I'm leaning into the left hip, left elbow crease up, and I'm hinging at that left elbow, but keeping my heart open. So reach out through the right arm and feel that. Move your face around. If there's no movement available in the left elbow, then don't move it. Simple as that. Big stuff, isn't there? Breathe that breath, noticing what you notice. Can you open up through the right arm more? Can you externally rotate both shoulders so the shoulder blades are down on your spine? Good. And then inhale your arms up and say yes. Perfect. Pick up that left heel, bring your left heel in front. Stir around in your pelvis, noticing those hips. And like I said, every day is a possibility for you to learn more about yourself. It's like brushing your teeth each day. And we might have done this 1,000 times together, but guess what? Each time, it's a new time, new opportunity for you to feel your hips. Let's pick up the right knee, take the right foot back behind you. Snuggle the left heel up closer. If this leg doesn't bend in this direction, and I failed to mention on the other side, you can keep that leg out. It works too. Take your right hand out to the right, block or no block, as far out so the right hip goes down. Open up your arms. So think of this as you spreading your wings, playfully opening up. If there's any discomfort in your body, breathe into it. Don't breathe into, no, let me reiterate that. If you're in pain, is it 911 pain or the discomfort? There's a fine line of understanding. We're not meant to push through pain. We're meant to breathe through the discomfort. So open yourself up and discern, are you in pain, discomfort, and make sure you augment so you're not in pain. Breathe your breath, big breath, in and out, 2 more breaths. Wherever that left arm wants to wave, whether you're bending and extending at your right elbow, keep your collarbone broad. You've got it. Good. Inhale, both arms up to the sky. Shazam. Exhale, bring the right heel directly out in front of you and breathe. In and out. In and out. Stir around in that lovely pelvis of yours. Really consider just slowing down and being the most optimal you. Good. I love practicing yoga. It's the practice every day. On your next in and out breath, we're going to lean back just enough to take your feet out in front of you. And then take your feet back behind you. We're going to go prone. Lay down on your belly. So as you lay down on your belly, planting the pubis onto the floor, if you need a blanket across for your pubis because it protrudes more outwardly than your hip bones, then put a blanket there. Once you lay down on your belly, we're going to stack the hands underneath the forehead and just get a little feeling of what that feels like just to rest. Take a moment to do that. Let your head relax. I'm just keeping my head up to speak to you. Okay, wiggle in your pelvis, make sure you're comfortable. Because now you're going to bend your knees, bring your heels toward you, squeeze your legs closer together. And then from here, we're going to just take our arms back and lift the front of the shoulders and engage our shoulder blades together. Lift your palms up, facing each other. Look straight at the floor so your neck isn't in extension, that's uncomfortable, nor is it in flexion, dropping down. It's looking straight at the mat. So I'm going to offer that we play here. So just lifting the front of the shoulders, you're going to feel that lower back. Then I'm going to offer that you extend your legs straight out and down and press them into the mat and lift the front of the shoulders. For 5, for 4, 3, 2, and then bend the heels, keep your shoulders lifted, head still neutral, and then doing your best to even just play with lifting your knees up, even if they're a tad. And no, pubis will dig into the mat. That's why I say blanket underneath the pubis. For 5, for 4, for 3, 2, and then stack your hands. Forehead rests on your hands, and windshield wipe your legs. So you're just practicing working your back muscles. Breathe the breath. Discern. Make it happen. It is your practice. And then we're going to do that all over again. Just smooth out your legs first of all. Bring them closer together. I find a lot of people widen that girth too wide. Keep your feet more narrow than your hips if you can, or shoulders. From here, face up off your hands, reach your arms straight back. If you feel that you need to use a yoga strap behind you to keep the shoulders lifting and to pull tautness into your hands through the strap to keep those shoulders lifting, please do. because now in your next in and out breath, you're going to contract your quads, look straight at the mat, and then feel the lift as you take your thumbs out of your bum for 5. Keep the feet down for 4, for 3, for 2. Then bend your knees, heels towards either your strap or your knuckles or your hands, and then see if we can lift up the knees as well for 5. Keep your neck neutral for 4, for 3, for 2, and then surrender and completely relax. Windshield wipe your legs. Woo-wee. You're doing great. All right, so that was twice. 3 times is a charm, isn't it? So let's do that again when you're ready. So you can either reach arms back, interlace your fingers is another option. Keep your elbows bent, heel of the hands together, or arms straight back, or hold a yoga strap. Plant the tops of your feet first, lift the shoulders, and let's rise up for 5. For 4, contract your quads so that they're strong. For 3, 2, bend the knees, heels towards your hands. If some of you can grab your ankles, resist your ankles into your hands and lift your inner thighs. We're going to stay here. Neck is neutral for 5. So wherever you are, for 4, for 3, for 2, and then surrender completely onto the mat. A little windshield wipe of the legs and breathe. Well done. Nicely done. Notice where you're at. Can you soften a little bit more? I understand. I know. Good. On your next in and out breath, when you're ready, release the legs. Find your Sphinx position so your elbows are ahead of you. Now this one, make sure your elbows aren't behind your shoulders, they're ahead, so you can isometrically grip the floor and bring your elbows towards your hips, claw the finger pads into the mat, and then slowly lift the left knee out and kick out that left foot. Good. Keep the grip of your right forearm and lift your chest up, pressing into the left finger pads at a right angle and open up your heart. So you're opening up your heart. Good, to your best ability. Keep that left knee hiking up, left toes out. Don't get tangled into your strap like I just did. And then let's start to bend that right leg and notice how that feels. So the reason and purpose, why are we doing this? No, not because we're trying to be contortionists or Cirque du Soleil people. It's because your body is designed with such a beautiful web of muscles that sometimes are atrophied or petrified due to the circumstances that you place upon them in your routines daily. Most people are quite ignorant, and I mean that with love, of how to provide care for the body, and we tend to routinely do the same non-kind practice to the body, whether we sit all day, we do the same mechanical thing all day. And just note that sports are equally not healthy for us as well. So if you're constantly playing tennis, then you need to do your yoga practice to balance and counterbalance all of that overexertion in one way, right? Hockey, tennis, you name it. And even weight training, a lot of people throw themselves around. If your right hand, left hand could come up and you could plantar flex your right foot towards your bum bum, great. If not, don't worry about it. Breathe your breath for 2 more breaths. I know it's a long hold. Curl your right toes under, slide that left heel towards your bum, reach that left leg out, slowly come onto your tummy, stack your hands, breathe your breath, windshield wipe, but relax your face. I'm just lifting up to speak to you. Let go. Truly let go. This is all about creating a most beautiful, optimal being, healthful being for you. This is your individual practice, okay? When you're ready, release those legs back down. Find your Sphinx arms. Remember, you're isometrically dragging your elbows towards your hips towards your elbows, but you're lengthening, stretching the front body. Stay on your left forearm. Take your right forearm out to the side, right hand at a right angle, and slide the right knee out and press your right foot out as far as you can. Move your strap out of the way. So coming up onto your right finger pad so you can broaden in your collarbones. So you're not dumping in your shoulders. Really important piece. Notice if that's enough for you. If it's too much, you can come down. Find out what works for you. Some of you may be able to press out through the right foot a little bit more, but keep the belly toned and your chest broad. Got it? If it's in your practice to bend that left heel towards your bum, your left hip will go in full extension. Trust me, you'll feel it. So don't push it if it's not in there, if it's not happening. Some of you may be able to open up through the right arm and grab a hold of that left foot and plant or flex it towards your bum, or just hold on to the heel and press and resist the left forearm away from you so that you can open up your chest. So no matter where you are in this practice, we're going to stay here because the reason why we're doing it is why? Optimally aligning all of the muscles and the tissues of the body so that they are being exercised fully to their fullest potential without harming, using your breath. So mindfully breathing, externally rotating the upper arms, and noticing what you notice. Whew. 3 more breaths here. Wherever you are. No pushing it. That's ego. You will hurt yourself and you won't be able to do a practice tomorrow if you hurt yourself. Oh yes, you will. You could meditate and do restoring breath. On your next in and out breath, let's curl the left toes under, release the right leg back, right down onto your belly, prone, stack your hands, heels towards your bum, rest your forehead on your hands, windshield wipe. For 10, 9, 8, so yeah. Big lumbar spine stuff. It's a back bend with external internal rotations of the femur bones. That's what pigeon is. Good. On your next in and out breath, let's slide the forearms back into Sphinx. Curl your toes under. Walk the do a little bit so you feel secure so that you could drag your forearms towards your hips, hips towards your forearms. Toes are curled under. Lengthen through the crown of the head. Ignite everything from the peripheral to the core of your pelvis. And when you're ready, as you isometrically draw your elbows towards your hips, lift your hips up. Blossom the bump. Walk your feet in just enough and then slowly lower one knee, then the other knee, and come to sit on your shins and take a really big breath. Fantastic. Good. Now right here, let's come back onto the forearms. Blossom your bum. We're going to bring our hands into prayer. Cross your thumbs. Draw your inner elbows closer towards each other. And then sink your chest towards your thighs a little bit. Feel that? Toes are curled under, and then bring your chest away from your thighs. Good. So get your shoulders right on top of your elbow creases, and then toes are curled under. Hover the knees up. Then lift your hips up and let your head hang between your upper arms. So get enough space there so you can get your head between your upper arms. Bend your knees, blossom your bum, and resist the floor with your forearms so you can move your chest toward your thighs. Knit the belly button in. Some of you can straighten your legs, but your heels stay lifted because you want to lift yourself up. All the energy is pooling in the back of the heart. We're opening up the chest for 5. So if you need to have your knees on the floor and move your head between your arms, that's awesome. But your arms are in complete flexion, and that's where the challenge is for most of us. For 3, 2, 1, slowly lower the knees, lifting your face up. Sit back on your shins and go. I got to laugh because it is a lot of fun. So now come back into your tabletop, reassess your knees back behind you. Make sure you have a yoga bolster just in case you may need it, and your yoga strap. So right here, I'm just going to have you extend your right leg straight back, and then lift that right knee up towards your armpit as much as you can, and then do your best to land. So you're going to work it here. You can come up onto your left finger pads, and it's like you're rotating in that hip, so we're working it. Take that left foot somewhere up underneath your chest. Heel toe the left foot all the way to your right hand. Lift your right heel of your fingers up and start to circumvent around until you can land your left shin all the way towards your left wrist. Wiggle your right leg back. Now, some of you need to use your bolster, and this is what it's going to look like. When you're up with the shin forward, what you do is you just slide that bolster between your left heel and your right thigh. So when you land yourself down, you have support on your pubis. Wiggle the right leg back, come up onto your finger pads and lift your heart. Some of you are able to bend your knee heel here. Blah, blah, blah. I can speak English. And then lift your heart. Some of you are going to be a little bit more here, here, or here, or here, or here, or here. So note, wherever you may be, you are there because that's the shape that you need to truly be. Here, 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 or here. You do you. So we're going to waddle in the hips a little bit, noticing it's a back bend, flexion of the right hip and external rotation of the left hip. That's why we warmed up. And a heart opening. So the Sphinx helped us to open up the heart. Be you. You don't need to do anything that isn't in alignment with you. That's what this whole practice is about. Some of you are in this pose and you feel the friskiness and you're able to grab one hand and the other hand and resist and open up. As long as you're not struggling with your breath and you could breathe kindly for 5 more breaths, no matter where you are. Waddling in the hips is a great place. Bolster underneath the pelvis for 3, for 2. Good. And now we're going to all come up onto the finger pads. Lean all the way to the left hip. Sweep the right leg forward with support. Cross your legs out in front. So I'll just face you. So that right leg is out in front. And circumvent in your pelvis and feel with gratitude the simplicity of slowing down and being in your practice. We are spiritual warriors. If you think you have to rush through anything, let's reel it in. Let's slow down and become more real with ourselves, eh? Yeah, because that's what it's all about. Good. Now from this position, let's lean back, kick out the feet, and come back into your tabletop. Once you find your tabletop, a little stirring of cat-cow is invited. Love cat-cow. And then on your next in and out breath, we're going to extend the right leg straight back, lift it hip height, come up onto your right finger pads, and start to just playfully bring that right knee up like we did earlier. Can you do that? Just playfully. And then draw the right knee as high up into your armpit and bringing, so you're kind of internally, externally swinging from the femur bone, that right foot as much as you could bring it up between your hands. Come up onto your left finger pads. Circumvent around, then heel toe, your right foot to the edge of the left side where your left hand is, and then reassess your hand so that you can start to move and groove in your chins or in your right shin and your hips, and lower that right shin all the way down and wiggle the left leg back. So again, here, if this is where you need to invite between the left thigh and the right ankle, as you lower yourself down. Extend the left leg straight back. You've got it. Extend it back. And then you could prop yourself up or come all the way down. Make sure you're not dumping. I see so many people dump. This is an actual present, conscious practice of pigeon. So you're not dumping and resting like a shavasana. You're literally working it through the breath. Keep your inner left thigh hugging in towards the midline, in, back, and apart. So again, if you're in your practice and you could bend that knee, usually those with the bolster in between the pelvis, bending that back left knee is not the option. That's the reason why you have a bolster, because your flexors are tight. So bending your back left knee is going to make it more angst. You won't be able to breathe. So just be content being in this position with your bolster. Those that are able to bend that knee, and if you're not lifting up like that, great. Bending your knee as your hips sink downward, okay? Some of you are quite content and you could reach one arm back, grab that heel, the other arm back, grab that heel playfully, or you could take both hands as long as you're not struggling. This is my struggle side. I do not feel comfortable. Doesn't mean I'm not going to practice maybe one arm today. Breathe that breath wherever you are. Could be here, but you're not dumping. So you're feeling the works. You're either dorsiflexing your foot in front or plantar flexing. Most of you will be plantar flexing due to hip issues. I've heard you all. Plantar flex, top of your foot. So being here, waddling in your hips, going, oh yeah. Whoo-wee. Thank you, pigeon. So pigeon pose is a great introspection position of what our roots, our pelvic energy, our masculine and feminine energies, our security and our creativity, our dancing in balanced or imbalanced, and there's no right or wrong, it just is. So wherever you may be in it with 3 more breaths, 2, and it's also a back bend for a lot of us today because the flexion and extension, the extension of that left leg, whew, means back bend. On your next in and out breath, everyone lean to your right hip, slide the left leg forward. I'm spitting there. And then bring that left leg out in front. And here you arrive in your cross leg. Feel those hips. So this is nearing the end of our practice. 45 minutes goes fast. I'm going to offer that we find our most comfortable seat. Allow the pelvis to settle as we swirl around. And then I'm going to invite that we bring our hands to our belly flesh and feel all the works from those lower chakras up into the diaphragm, which connects to the heart. I'm going to offer that we open up our arms really wide and then just reach them back, reach them back. And then on your exhalation, as your chest is popped forward, you're going to now take your chest back, round your spine backwards as you sit back onto your tailbone, cat back. And exhale that full breath, and then inhale a full breath, arcing your back. Exhale that primary curve. Inhale at your own pace, just noticing that. Take your time, be real. Oh yeah, let it be, oh let it be. Then on your next in-breath, take your arms skyward and bring a little cactus arms, a little goddess arms to it. And just take a moment here to feel the chest opening. Just feel it opening. Take those forearms back. Say yes to life. And then exhale, release your palms out and up towards the heavens. Just like that, and take your thumbs back. Knit the belly button in. 2 more breaths here. So life requires us to stay with an open heart, no matter what's going on. And be kind, ahimsa, non-violence, non-harming. Exhale your hands to your heart center and let us thank ourselves for our practice today. Question, were you breathing through all those compromising and uncomfortable? And we didn't want to compromise ourselves, even though beginners tend to. Do your best to do less is more. And if you're fighting through your postures, notice, am I breathing? So every time you join me on the mat, notice if you're... Let's do that together. Big breath in. Longer exhalations out, okay? Let's end this practice, thumbs at your heart center, elbows bow out, so the heel of your hand, see how that nice straight line? And let us end this practice with Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Deep breath in. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. May you feel the peace of your own being by being the creator and the decider and the leader of your own peace. That's what we're here for. From my light to your light, you and I are each other. Namaste. Hopefully I'll see you in the next episodes of Restore in Breath.